One man on an island, one drop in the sea. All it takes to set a wave in motion is a single word in action, a hope that we can be the change that we've been longing to see. For our home, our land, our family, it's all within our reach. See this island, every grain of sand. Hear this anthem, it's the voices of our friends. Come whatever, on the road ahead. We did it before, and we'll do it again.
When the moments turn to hours and the day's last light is gone, look around us always and remember there were times we were uncertain, but we just kept walking on. It's always darkest just before the dawn. See this island, every grain of sand. Hear this anthem, it's the voices of our friends. Come whatever, on the road ahead. We did it before, and we'll do it again.
Our home, the home we share, where the garden always grows toward the light. Though the road ahead is daunting, I know we're gonna be alright.
See this island, every grain of sand. Hear this anthem, it's the voices of our friends. Come whatever, on the road ahead. We did it before, and we'll do it again. See this island, every grain of sand. Hear this anthem, it's the voices of our friends. Come whatever, on the road ahead.
We did it before, and we'll do it again.
Yes, a very good evening to all our guests right here. Welcome down to the Virtual CC brought to you by Yourgeylangserai. And of course, this time we have heard that NDP is around the corner. So as you can see that we are almost celebrating the National Day. I was just kind of like chatting with my guests over here that we're talking about this year round. We got 2 days of public holiday and 2 days of celebration for National Day. And of course, hopefully everyone is staying safe. Today the cases are still quite, serious. We got 100 plus, including the imported ones, and hope that everyone can actually get ourselves vaccinated fast. And of course, hopefully we can reopen our economy right here for the next quarter of 2021 itself. Okay, so with that, right here for today is actually the next series of the program called the Market Outlook. So right here, we would like to share with you about a topic in terms of insurance and how it can benefit and impact your life. So right now, let's pan the screen to the slide itself. Yes, for the market outlook for today, we're going to be talking about the insurance topic as mentioned. So just a quick disclaimer, this program is actually for information purpose only. And of course, do make your own consideration and of course approach any of the MAS registered representative list. And today our guests, their company do have more than 10 of them, okay? So they are the best person that you can approach later on. And right now, let's jump straight to the guest that we are inviting right here for today. She's none other than Jin Ting, and Jin Ting is actually the CEO. She's wearing two hats or multiple hats, many hats, okay? Where I got to know that the company itself, Money Owl, not only actually does the insurance and financial advisory, they also have their own fund. That's the reason why she's also helming as the Chief Investment Officer for Money Owl itself, which is actually an NTUC social enterprise. And prior to that, she has been around, okay, really in many places, like in the Labour Foundation, NTUC Enterprises, really a very, we call that a 金虎狼, even for Lion Global, which is part of OCBC, everything else right here is really truly a solid background that she's coming from, okay? And of course, education-wise, you know, as you can see, Oxford, wow, I really salute in a way. And right now, without further ado, let's welcome Jin Ting to the program.
Thank
Hello.
you. Thank you,
Yeah.
谢谢慧姐.
You like to share about yourself? I named everything already. I'm sure you have more to share, right?
Thank you so much. I think the really Money Hour, we are an NTUC social enterprise, so we are quite new, and a little while I'll introduce a little bit more about NTUC social enterprise. And for me, it was not something I planned on, like being a financial advisor or even running a company. I started actually in MINDEF because I took a scholarship from MINDEF to study at Oxford. And when I came back, I had to serve a bond. And I stayed for a total of 9 years. In the end, I was doing defense policy, loved it. But then I accidentally fell into fund management. So I think in Chinese 有些机缘巧合，我在国防部工作了9年，那是拿了国防部的奖学金，就前往这个牛津大学，英国牛津大学就读历史。回来呢，服务了差不多9年以后呢，就有点累。So I was quite tired, so 就放自己1年的假 so I took like a year out, right?
Fire the boss.
That's right. Well, at that time, my husband's company IPO'd, so he had a little bit of management shares.
Cool.
Banyan Tree, you know Banyan Tree?
Banyan Tree.
Yeah, that was in 2006.
Yes.
And so then we said, what do you do with shares? I don't even know how to sell or buy, how to set an account. And you know, being the kind of like scholar person, I said, okay, you want to learn about investing, learn about it properly. So I went to study the CFA on my own. So as I studied the CFA, then I went for the exam, and then I met a friend who was working at Lion. So in this thing, it was in 2007, and I went into this, and during this time was actually just before the global financial crisis. So it was like in the eye of the storm. I learned a lot, and after about 5 years or so in Lion, I think Lion will object to you calling them 金户.
They're part of OCBC.
So 过了就是自己去读这个关于的 CFA 的投资的的事情呢，就因为我觉得要读就要学就学好了，就从这个最好像最高级的这个资格 CFA 资格的课程去学，所以到了利安呢，就哇金融风暴啊什么，就真的学了很多。过后呢，就可能有点闷了吧，you know it's a bit boring after there's a crisis. So I went and joined an NTC Social Enterprise. I thought that you know it's a place where I can make a difference, and yet also you know advance in my career. 就几年了，差不多9年了，9年了就到这个NTUC 的创优企业合作社的 HQ 工作。然后过后呢，就是这个 NTUC 就决定要设立这个财务规划公司，我就那时候已经在这个Singapore Labour Foundation， 就是新加坡的劳工基金，也是一个政府机构，是他的首席投资官，so when I was CIO there, then they asked me to lead the project， 然后就回到了NTUC Enterprise 那里去创办 Money Hour。
是的，是的。I saw something quite interesting here. Beijing language. What does that mean? Isn't it Chinese language
Yes,
or Mandarin?
yes,
Why
yes.
is it Beijing language?
Yeah, so this Beijing Language and Culture University, this was an external degree that I took while I was at MINDEF.
Okay.
Yeah, so 这是北京语言大学是北语的一个语言文化的专业，这是我一个自己的兴趣吧。所以是一个第二个学士学位吧，都跟这个数学跟理财是没有什么相关。可是我是总是觉得人们不要把自己限制在一个框子里，你可以学人文，你也可以学财经，也可以学很多东西啦，就是生活才会比较有意思。
你知道吗？今天给你一个点子哦，我发现在新加坡有大部分的理财频道，还有就是理财的那些公司都是全英文的。既然你中英精通中英，那你倒不如也创立一个中文版的理财，因为真的是有非常多新移民嘛，还有就是很多外国人现在听说，因为就是新加坡的那个货币会非常的稳定，the market and also the SGD is going to be very stable. There's a lot of overseas foreigners, including like Malaysians and all that. They are parking their annuity and their retirement here in Singapore.
Yeah.
是吗？
Yeah, so Wendy was giving me a business tip, right, to say that I should go after the Chinese-speaking market. And in fact, we will be happy to serve, and we can do actually many webinars, educations, and it's not just me. We have a team that's able to do this. So we are here actually really for Singaporeans, but we're happy to serve all, and increasingly as we reach everyone, we'll be most happy to explore this. Yeah, thank you, Wendy.
And there's 60 of you in the company, right?
There's 60 of us. We have maybe about 15. Or more licensed advisors and specialists, and so that's something we're very proud of, because while we do have a robo platform, in fact we have 4, we are actually really about advice.
Great.
So that's us. Yeah.
Okay, great. So right now, let's jump straight to the topic for today, the 5 things that we would like to talk about. The first one is actually young people. I think I'm still quite young now. Okay, young people with no dependent, I have no dependent, don't need insurance. That's the first one. My company or group insurance benefit is good enough and cheap, okay? So I don't need to buy extra for myself. Third one is actually life insurance is expensive, and I need insurance for the whole life and continue on and on. And of course, the last one is actually insurance with cash value is better, okay? So we'd like to actually also share with all our friends right here that do interact with us. We know that not everyone actually come into the Zoom or whatever space that you are actually tuning in right now from Facebook and all that live. You can always still continue to drop us emails and all that, and we are very happy to always serve you as well. And being part of Geylang-Serai CC and of course the People's Association, and the program is supported by Southeast CDC. We are always here to provide you voluntary and of course no fee, no charges type of advisory for you as well. Okay, so with that, let's kickstart with Money Hour. We talk about it, and I think we'll have to do a quick overview about Money Hour once again.
So very quickly, so Money Hour is an NTUC social enterprise. So this means we are majority owned and controlled by NTUC Enterprise, whose other companies you would know, like NTUC FairPrice, NTUC First Campus. In fact, on the way to the studio here, I passed by a daycare center by NTUC Health. Yeah, but Money Hour is special in the sense that we also have another shareholder. We are actually a joint venture with a company called Provident. Provident you might not be as familiar with, but they're actually one of the oldest independent financial advisors in Singapore. They are retirement specialists, and they are the first fee-only financial advisor. In other words, they don't take commissions. So that's something that they pioneered. And this is really something that we wanted to do. So on this, having inherited this from our both parents, this is a unique combination that we bring to the market. We are currently the only financial advisor that's all of these 3 things, that we are comprehensive. So we don't just do insurance, we don't just do investments. In fact, we specialize very much on national schemes like CPF, and we bring it all together. And we even have a will writing service. So we are also non-tied, as in we are not owned by a bank or an insurance company or any venture capitalist. And all our advisors are salaried. So sometimes in advisors or in banks, you'll find 2 or 3 of these. But for us, we are the first one, and I believe the only one that has all of this. And the reason is really because of why we exist. So we are not a sort of startup, where I'm not going to go off and buy a big bungalow because I don't own any of this company. When he was asking me whether we're going to sell ourselves because we are tech platforms, no, we are actually a social enterprise. And so our mission, our whole purpose of existing is actually to help ordinary working families, right, men in the street, to live fulfilling lives, build a better future for themselves and their family through advice, comprehensive, competent, and conflict-free advice. So very quickly, just imagine 我们是Money Hour 是这个NTUC 旗下的一个社会企业，那我们也是跟 Provident 的一个合资企业。Provident 呢是新加坡首家不收佣金、只收咨询费的财务管理公司。他们是财务规划公司，他们在这个理财还有退休方面是有专长的。那我们呢是独一有这个3个特征的一个组合的公司，就是我们的咨询呢，我们的规划呢是全面性的，不只是说专注保险，也不只是做投资，而是全面性的。那我们呢不属于任何的，就是好像这个。其他的公司不是银行，没有我们的股份，然后我们也不是不属于这个保险公司，也不属于风险投资家。那我们全部的顾问呢都是不赚佣金的，我们佣金如果有收的话呢，只是保险，而且是这个保留在公司方面的。我们的规划师呢，你就不用担心，因为你来做规划的时候，你知道他没有说自己的利益冲突。那我们真正要这么做呢，是因为我们就是这个社会企业，我们的宗旨是一个社会企业的宗旨，我们要以全面、专业和无利益冲突的财务规划服务为大众就是普通的老百姓，可以这么说吧，打造这个丰富的人生和美好的前途。
其实我有2个问题想要问哈，so I do have 2 questions. The first thing is actually about why this isn't part under NTUC initially, and now I kind of understand because it's really about the passion, the love to help people and to serve, right? And the second question to actually also check with you, there's already a lot of other platforms, like example, all the independent financial advisors like PIAS, and so many of them, Manulife FA and all that. How different are they with you? No, despite them getting things like, let's say, things like they get commissions from that, but you're charging fee-based. It to the customers are the same, right? So what's so special and unique about Money Hour?
Yeah. So I think the first question you're referring in particular to NTUC income, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that we are set up under directly under NTUC Enterprise? This really is because we wanted to be independent and we don't want to be tied to, we want to offer a different proposition that is not tied to a product provider. NTUC Income is a product provider, and the mainstay of the sales and the revenues of a business that is like an insurance company has to be through its sales force, which is overwhelmingly, if not totally, commission. That is true with every insurer. So in a sense, we're having a kind of disruptive impact, disruptive proposition, and for that disruptive proposition that's experimental, it's best that we have a separate company. And so that is the reason for NTUC setting this up directly. So 刚才美惠就是问为什么呢 ？Money Hour 是建立在这个总部的属公司，而不是在英康属下的公司。那就是因为要独立，就是因为我们在建立介绍这个产品的时候呢，不能只是说用英康的产品，因为可能英康不是最好的、最适合的。So the second question really is that how are we different? Again, I'll point to the unique combinations. I think that the way that we do the planning is different. We do incorporate CPF Life in a very real way. We are not very insurance centric, and I think we should not underestimate the impact of having salaried advisors on the psyche of clients, because when clients know that there is no commission involved, there is no conflict of interest, I think they remove that doubt. You know, yeah. 所以我们对于其他公司呢，最主要的特征呢，就是因为我们的规划师呢是 没有赚这个佣金，所以你来做规划的时候，你不用有这个顾忌。你没有顾虑，那你不用有这个担心，他给你的建议是真的对你好还是对他好，所以我们是有这个这样的这个主张，
是的，非常非常好。其实我在想，这样子的话，其实对于我来说，如果真的是只是要知道我现在目前的财务状况是怎么样的话，我反而会比较怕去见那些外面的自由行业的人，因为他们经常都会为了要卖一个产品，就会跟你说，其实你这个不够，那个不够，可能不是一个非常客观的一个方法去告诉你本身的这个财务状况，是吧？
我们是这样认为，
对的，对的。OK， 好 ，right here, let's jump straight to the first topic for today.
Yeah. So the first myth, and I will just go through in English, and then I'll just summarize very quickly in Mandarin. So the first myth that young people with no dependents don't need insurance, and we'll just come out and say this is false, right? If you can assure me that every life risk that happens to you, you die, then you don't need insurance, right? But of course, there are many other things that can happen to us even when you're young, and in which it affects your income and you're still living. So what are these things that can affect your income? Besides death, and that is like illness, like critical illness or disability, and you still need to pay these living expenses. So this is, therefore, even if you don't have dependents, you need to pay for yourself. And the second thing that you need insurance for is against large medical bills. Even if you have no dependents, you do not want this to deplete your capital because it can be financially catastrophic. 所以呢，就是即使你无家属，重大疾病或职业伤残呢，可以剥夺你自己生活开支的收入来源。就算你没有家属要供养的话，而且呢，第二种风险呢，就是大笔的医药开支，那你也需要的保险来帮您应付。So this is the first myth.
Yeah, and I do have a question here. So a lot of young people, even for myself, I know that I have a lot of AIA that my mom bought during when I was very, very young. So back then, right, at my, 18, 21, I came out to work at about 21 years old. I kind of really can't be bothered or chap kind of attitude towards insurance, and I always says that actually my parents already bought everything and stuff like that. So is that actually a good practice? Because I do notice that a lot of youngsters, they don't really care about this at all.
I have my mom bought AIA thing for me as well. So I think most of these, I think we need to understand, of course, the parents out there love to provide for us. That this mainly endowment plans, right, to give us be it for education or give us a little bit of money for a head start in life. And they generally don't cover protection. What we really need is more education, including through your program like yours.
Yes.
Right? So really encourage young people to actually look at your insurance. So 我们是说很多父母亲呢，可能帮你买的保险呢，可能不足够，那可能不是保障的保险，可能是好像教育储蓄险，像它通常这个保护性呢是不是很大的，所以真的是要呼吁年轻人呢，就看一下自己有什么风险需要什么保险，保险不一定是要很贵的，等一下我们会说到这一点。
Okay, so you do advise that youngsters do ask their parents, please take out the policy and then kind of do a quick review with money out, isn't it?
Yes, we can definitely do that. And we also have on our robo-advisor, our insurance robo can sort of give you a general overview of what you need at different stages of life.
Okay, all right. And next we come to the second topic that we're talking about here. Company already protect me, okay? It's more than enough and it's cheaper. I don't need to buy anything else.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So on this second myth, I think the answer is that most of the time it will not be enough. So and some of you work in companies, they're such great, especially the MNCs, tech companies, they have such good coverage. You don't have to worry about that. But the key problem is that most of the time it is not portable. So unless you're going to work for a company for the rest of your life, then then maybe you can depend more on it. But even then, after you retire, there are still some things like medical expenses that you need to cover with your own insurance. So what is the risk? It's not about money. It's not about cost. It is that you might incur something in your health along the way, and then when you leave the company, because you can't bring this insurance with you, you can't get insured on good terms, or you might even have exclusions, right? Because you never know when some of these health risks come about. The second issue with a lot of these group insurance is that the premiums increase with age, and so it may not actually be cheaper, especially where critical illness cover is concerned. Other things that there are different terms for group insurance. You cannot nominate your beneficiaries. You cannot control the terms of the policy. So in 2020, for example, the LIA changed the definition of critical illness, and for the group insurance, so your personal insurance still adhered to the previous definitions, but the group insurance changed their definitions because you are not the policy holder. You cannot control the terms, or you can't negotiate directly with the insurance company, right? Do check on the scope, because sometimes the coverage is limited to medical. It may not give you income replacement. And so overall, at Money Hour, what we suggest is that portable group insurance can be a supplement, but should not form more than 50% of your insurance portfolio. 所以我们这些团体保险呢，它最大的毛病就是你辞职或离开这团体后呢，你不能携带，你不能继续的受保，所以你可能身体呢在期间可能出现状况的话，之后你就可能被拒保了。那其他要点呢，就是保费，团体保险的保费呢，它是随年纪增加，受保人呢你也不能指定保单的受益人和保险的条件。所以 Money Hour 的建议呢，就是这 Group Insurance 团体保险呢，保值在总保障需要的50%之下。
所以就算是自己本身在目前一个团体当中，还是必须要给自己保，因为什么事情发生可以双边掏钱，是吧？
要看是什么。如果是医药保险的话呢，就不能说you cannot claim more than you earn, right? 可是就是说，如果是CI 啊，真的是这个 portability 这个携带性的问题了。
是的，好，明白。So 还有一个东西就是很多人也会说，我本身其实会不会买太多，或者是有一些人好像当我们在服兵役的时候，我们自己是 Aviva，所以现在我们是不是应该继续买更多的 Aviva， 这样子会比较便宜啦，还是什么 Loyalty 等等，这样是有这样子的道理吗？
算是没有什么挂钩的。所以有说Aviva 可能是最便宜的，可能是Tokio Marine， 也可能是其他的，所以是没有什么跟个人保险跟团体保险是没有什么挂钩的。像我这个表呢是说这团体保险真的是比较便宜吗？那这是比较基本的保险，是保死亡，还有这个 TPD Total Permanent Disability，说真的是比较便宜吗？我们这边看的是的，这个到65岁呢，其实它的保费是摊平的，所以你把从36岁到65岁，把全部的保费加起来呢，其实是比个人保险就是中间的它比中间的个人保险是便宜，可是呢有其他的团体保险，有一个机器投资平台 One Robo Advisor， 它有这个跟 Prudential 呢有一个安排呢做这个团体的Group Term Life， 可是其实不管是每年的保费呢，还是加起来的保费，其实是非常昂贵的，所以是真的便宜吗？如果是比较基本的，可能呢这个 Aviva 这种保险是比较会比个人保险便宜，所以这个也是可以考虑的。如果你是服兵役，可是当我们要加上这个重大疾病的保障的时候呢，就情况就不一样了。所以我们这里看呢是说个人保险它的保费是摊平的，所以你加起来的时候，其实它的保费比你这个内政部和国防部的group insurance 呢，其实来的便宜，因为这个团体保险呢，它是每5年呢，它的保费会增加。So when you add the critical illness cover, actually the group insurance may not actually be cheaper because the age banded premiums do go up, and so you see this example between the individual life insurance and the MINDEF group insurance. So again, just in conclusion, group insurance, firstly, let it be portable. The MINDEF MHA group insurance is one of the few that are really portable, and it can be a good supplement, but don't make it the core of your protection needs.
Okay, that's a very, very good sharing to especially all the young army boys who really doesn't really know much and they thought that they are fully covered, and this is something that
it's a good product, right?
Yeah,
and it's really worthwhile. So at Maya, we want to do what is good for the client, right? But you just need to know that there are certain limitations, right? So and it's not always so straightforward.
Okay, so what's next that we have right here to do a sharing? The third one, okay.
Okay, so maybe you have seen me say that, okay, even if I'm young, I need some insurance, even if the group insurance may not. But you know, when it comes to buying personal insurance, it's so expensive, right? So, but what is our response here? Is that actually it doesn't have to be. Okay, Money Hours philosophy for insurance is this: buy as much insurance as you need. You know, just now you say that we have too much insurance, but what we say is buy as much as you need, but pay as little as you can. Okay, so why is this so? Because insurance is an expense. And how do we buy as much insurance as we need and pay as little as you can? Right, so this is you need to understand how insurance premiums come about, what determines how much premiums you pay. Firstly, your length of cover. And what we want to show you maybe a little bit later is that term insurance is much cheaper and is actually probably sufficient for most of our protection needs. The second thing that determines premium is your sum assured. So how much you buy, the more you buy, then of course, let's say you buy upon death 100,000 versus upon death 1 million, that's different. Okay, but what you should do is to get what you need. And as financial advisors, and you can go on our website to basically do an assessment for free of how much you need. Right? The age matters, and also your health condition matters. So what you need to do is actually to make use of term insurance, right? Get what you need in terms of the sum assured, because you can really get it quite cheaply. And then as far as possible, buy it young and buy it when you're in good health. So Money Hour的保险意念其实就是这个，以最低的开支确保最十足的保障。那怎么解决这其中的解决方案是什么呢？要选择定期保险为主，然后根据你所需要的保险额呢，尽量提早和趁健康的时候购买保单。So that's on our third.
因为不健康的话，可能就保不了。
保不了呢，保不了还是不是就1倍2倍都有呢？
是的，
而且不只是说健康，可能是说好像你有一点点好像很小的事情啊，有时候也是有这种问题，所以我们真的是建议健康的时候就要买保险。这个例子呢，就是说有2个人，他们都是男性，其实只有这个岁数是不一样，这25岁和35岁，他们的保险呢可能就一样的80万的话，他们付的保费就不一样了。So you look at this example, you have actually the only difference is in terms of age, and just say that we calculated their needs very simply for death needs $800,000 until retirement age of 65. So under John, you'll see that John, if you compare, be it a term plan or whole life plan compared to Peter, who is 10 years older, John pays much less per annum, and this is more or less this premium remains the same level. Right. And then if you compare the vertically, you see that the whole life plans are about 8 times more expensive than the term plans when it comes to the same sum assured. Right. So this is just an example about how it's really about the term of which you cover and the age at which you start. Yeah. So then maybe we can go on then to the next myth, which is related to this, but don't I need insurance for the whole of life? You know, since you convinced me I must buy insurance and even if I'm young and good insurance, then and it's not expensive, but I need it for whole of life, right? So I should buy that. So do we really need this for whole of life? And I will just come out to say, in Money Hours philosophy, we believe that most of the time, no. Very simply because most of our protection needs are temporary or for a term and not lifelong. So what is a lifelong need? Right? Lifelong need is really this one, medical expenses.
Yes.
You know, when you go, in fact, you will probably say that as you get older, you need more of it, right? But what are medical expenses covered by? They're actually covered by Shield Plan. Like Shield Plan, so the either MediShield Life or the integrated Shield plans, right, which are upgrade to beyond the B2 and C wards. And perhaps people don't really know, but treatment like chemotherapy, kidney lysis are also covered by the Shield plan. So this is a lifelong need. But what about other needs? You know, what about death, disability, and all that? What do they actually affect? These are actually income replacement needs. And most income replacement needs are actually temporary. And why is this so? Because you never earn income for the whole of your life anyway. And this is where you can be covered by term insurance. How long do you need this insurance to replace your income? Until your last dependent becomes independent or until your retirement age, whichever is later. Okay? And this is really where we feel that we can, our insurance philosophy is a bit different, but we really believe that you really should only buy as much as you need and then pay as little as you have. And this is how you do it, by recognizing that most of your needs are not lifelong. Now, I just want a word on critical illness. A critical illness like cancer produces two kinds of needs, right? One is medical expense needs, and one is recuperation time to replace income. So a lot of people have this misconception that they need to buy a lot of critical illness for the whole of life because of medical expenses. But the main medical expenses should be covered by your Shield plan, unless you have alternative medicine conviction, then maybe you buy a small whole life for that purpose. But otherwise, for critical illness, you either unfortunately die from it very quickly, or you spend maybe 4 years recuperating. You need to replace the income for that 4 years or so. So that is the whole framework. And I think if you understand this, you will never buy insurance the same way again, right? About the term. So 我们是觉得呢，这个保险不一定要保终身。仅有这个医疗费用的保障呢，是终身所需要，所以我们就用这个综合保健计划，不是就是这个Medishield Life 来提供保障。可是呢，因死亡、残疾、重病导致收入损失的保障呢，你就只需要保到有收入的时点，那就是保呢是退休年龄，不是的话就保到家属独立的时候。所以这是可以用这个定期保单来提供保障的。
Jinting, you know what? Actually, what you say really do make sense now. You know why? Because in the financial advisory industry, right, a lot of people always say that you need to buy until you're 60 years old, 70 years old, maybe even 80 years old. And I think mainly the reason is really because 25 years of plan and above, the agents get a higher comms, right?
Okay. You said it, I didn't say it.
No, I was just wondering because it makes sense though. Like you have to buy until the date that you think you can retire in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really the concept of not understanding that protection really is what is it protection for, right?
Yes.
And of course, if you're commission based, you have to fight. You have to find your own conviction, right? Because a term plan, just now we showed you, right? It can be 1/8 of a whole life plan. But of course, nobody goes at whole life plan. You go according to budget. But even then, the quantum is much larger. The commissions are definitely much larger. Whether or not this is the reason that agents or advisors really advise that, I mean, I wouldn't say that all commission advisors do that, but there is that dynamic that happens. I think we just have to admit that compensation can drive behavior. But I think for us then as consumers, I feel like young people are also getting more savvy about insurance. And that's why it's important that we understand the basis for everything that we do. Right? Because if you spend too much money on insurance, then your whole life plan is based on you like dying or being sick. Your plan is not based on you. Your financial plan success is based on you thriving and living and accumulating wealth, right? It should not be based on you dying or getting sick. Yeah. So if you allow me to maybe illustrate this in a timeline.
Certainly,
right? So you see on the right, we have current assets now, and we all want to grow in our financial plan into a larger future asset at the time of retirement or financial independence. And what enables us to do this? We have income. Right, so we have income every month that comes in and out that we spend, and then we save. Now, income, can I submit to you, is our most important financial asset for most of us. Why? Because it is from income that we get the resources to save and invest towards the future. Therefore, if we don't have an income, that is a very serious problem, because it means you have to dip into our current assets in order to fund our expenses. And this means your financial plan will fail. It will not look like that, your future assets, right? So we then are very concerned about protecting this income, and what can cause income to stop in terms of life risks, right? Death, then the income to your dependents stop. Occupational disability, say you're a lawyer, but you have depression. Say you are a speaker, and you lose your voice. Or you get injured in some other ways. That can cause your income to stop, either permanently or for a term, right? And then there's a critical illness as well. Can cause your income to stop because you're unable to work. So do we need protection for replacing income during this time? Of course you need. Now, So Wendy, after you retire, can you die? Can you get disabled? Or can you get ill? Of course, right?
Certainly. And I don't even know when I'm gonna face that.
That's right. Yeah. So of course this can happen. I'm not saying that these things can't happen. They do happen. But guess what? You have no income then anyway.
Yes.
Right. So therefore, you do not need this income replacement after your retirement age. The other thing that can eat into your current assets and cause your plan to fail is big hospital bills. So here we really want to protect against medical expenses, and this also applies after your the retirement. You don't want it to eat into your assets. So to summarize, income replacement needs. You only need this cover until retirement, or you have no more dependents, whichever is later. It's a temporary need. Medical expenses is a permanent need, and you need it for as long as you live.
I have a question. There are more and more people getting single, though. So what happened to the bunch of people who choose to really like not do anything to build families and all that? They don't have dependent. They are their own dependent in a way. So what should these kind of people do?
Yeah. So for us, what we recommend is that you probably don't need the death cover.
Yeah.
Right. But I think you need to replace your income in case you get disabled or you
Yeah.
get critical illness. That said, in some cases, it's cheaper to bundle your critical illness with death. So then you might as well get a bit, and maybe you can will it to some charity or nominate some charity or something like that. But definitely, you still need to protect the income. If you are your own dependent, then you protect the income for yourself, right? So that's the part about being single.
Okay, cool.
And definitely the medical bills, please, is
Yes.
must have, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't want to get anything in addition to the compulsory MediShield Life, then please make sure that you only tell everyone that if you are sick, please send you to the B2 or C ward, okay? Because if you wake up from something and you find that you have a huge bill, you might actually get sick again from the shock. Yeah.
And maybe don't want to get up anymore. All right, okay, there's a saying in Singapore, right? Better don't get you, better just go.
Yeah, so that's what insurance is there for, to help, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. So I just quickly use Chinese to say that 我们在买保险的时候，为什么呢？很多保险呢可以用这个定期保险来很多保障需要用定期保险就足够呢，是因为这样，我们现在有一笔资产，通过投资储蓄呢，我们说以后退休之后，我们要有更大的这个未来资产。在期间呢，我们的工作有收入，那收入是我们最重要的财务资产。因为如果你没有收入的话，你就必须现在掏自己的现在的资产来支付这个生活费，那你这个计划呢，这个财务计划呢就会失败。所以什么呢可以导致你的收入停止呢？就有死亡，像你的家属就没有你的收入了。职业伤残就是说你不能够工作，可能你受伤了还是什么，有什么疾病不能够工作，还是你得了这重大疾病如癌症啦、心脏病，有一段时期需要疗养，不能工作。那如果有这样发生的话，我们就要用这个保险来弥补这个收入的损失。可是退休以后呢，不能死亡，不会变残疾，不会生病吗？你当然还可能面对这些这些问题。可是呢，那时候你已经没有收入了，你本来是计划没有收入，所以在退休以后呢，其实你不需要这种弥补收入的损失的保险。第二种风险呢，就是说医疗费如果很庞大的话呢，就真的是可能有些人还可能会破产，所以我们需要这个保险呢，可以让您去索偿这个医疗费，退休以后呢还是一样的。所以要总结的话，那收入损失的保障呢，只需要保到退休年龄或者家属独立的时点，那就两者之后，它是一种暂时性的保障需要。可是医疗费呢，是终身的需要，是永久性的保障需要。
对的，非常赞同，而且我们也不知道我们最后一天到底是什么时候。好的。Okay, so we come to the next item right here, which is actually the last item for today, is insurance which cash value is better, because term plan they just keep paying and without cash value is waste
like throw
money.
away, right? Waste money.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
sometimes we say cash value plans or participating plans, or of that sort. So sometimes types include endowments, include whole life plans, definitely, and also some kind of retirement income plans. Right? So our answer is no. It's not better. This is our stance. It doesn't make us very popular in the industry. And I think it really starts from understanding where this cash value comes from. Is it really that with a cash value plan, you don't throw away money, but whereas like a term plan? So let's give this example. Let me go through this example. Every dollar of your premium actually goes towards, after fees, after commissions and all that, goes towards two broad buckets, right? About 20 cents or so, depending on the actual policy, your age and all that, goes towards the pure protection. So in the insurance terms, you say mortality charge, for example, right? This is something that is like a pure insurance and is inside your premium, and it's thrown away anyway. So is it right that term plan, if you don't die, you lose? I mean, not that. I mean, insurance is one of those things that we don't want to use, right? But you don't. Do you lose it? Yes, in that sense. If you don't use it within, you don't die before 65, and your return plans. But it's the same with whole life, right? You never get back this mortality charge. You don't. The only reason that you have additional return is because of this blue part here, which is the part that is at 80 cents or so after fees that go into the participating fund. And you give the insurance company this 80 cents, that please invest it for me and return me something. And so it's because you're given this money to the insurance company in the first place, that's why you get some money back. Right? So the mortality charge you never get back, okay? But you also don't get all of that 80 cents that invest back because there's so many fees and charges and all that. So if you understand this, then you realize that it's actually the same. You know, the part that goes towards protection is also so-called throw away, right? So 所以我们是说这个有现金价值保单的保费，其实有小部分是跟定期保单一样是拿不回来的纯保费。那现金价值的保单有钱拿回来，其实是因为您开头就给了这个保险公司呢额外的钱去带你投资，那里的回报是那样产生的。So the problem that we see with the cash value plan and whole life plans is, well, the purpose of insurance is protection. Right? But insurance is really not meant for savings and accumulation because it's just very far too expensive. So if you buy a whole life plan, also as we went through just now, you are paying for something you don't need. Right? So even if you have a low risk appetite, there are many ways to get insurance, to get investment return, even at low risk, right? And that's we see also recently that the LIA, the Life Insurance Association of Singapore, has lowered the illustrated returns. So if the expectation that these funds, the participating fund, can return what it used to return, actually has been lowered. So correspondingly, you can also expect much lower returns then. And some of the returns being illustrated to you can be like kind of 2.8%, or if you do the calculations. The par fund can return 4+%, but you might only get say 2+ or 3%. You can look through this IRR with the different policies with your advisors, right? So the returns are low because there are many costs when it comes to insurance. But most importantly, right, the problem with using cash value plans or whole life plans is that you will never cover yourself fully if you stick to using these plans. So it's just far too expensive. So we really want you to consider low-cost term insurance instead. 所以马尼老师是觉得，就是强烈建议呢，你考虑这个廉价的定期保险为主，因为保险的目的呢，是其实保障您的财务和生活计划。So we can read more about this in our ebook that we have, and you can download this over here.
Yeah. So before the ebook, right? Actually, I do have 2 questions for you, Chu Ting. Basically, actually, a lot of people always have this misunderstanding that if I buy a savings plan, you know, I have my so-called savings, returns and all, I don't need to put into the bank and stuff. At the same time, there's some, you know, terminal illness, death benefit and stuff like that as well. So savings plans is one of the best things that I should buy, and I don't have to buy protection and term and all that. Is that a good idea?
Overall, we'll say no, because firstly, in terms of your protection needs, you're probably undercovered. Right? So if I take this, we go back to this example. We had an example just now, right?
One,
we had 35-year-old $8,000 for 800,000 cover.
Yeah.
Can you actually afford that? I mean, how many people can afford that? Right? So, and that's only for 800,000, and we're not talking about critical
I get my
illness.
sponsor first. My sponsor.
Yeah, and this is only for death, you know. So if you add
Yeah.
critical illness, it's going to be like 15,000 or something like that per annum.
Yes,
How
yes.
many of us can afford that, right? So if you want to insist on using only whole life plans, that's your problem, right? So that is really why we think that it's not a good idea, and the returns are really not high when it comes to insurance. Yes, there's a certain level of guarantee, or we do trust insurance companies to smooth out the return and give us something. But you know, when it's like kind of 2 or 3% and all that, you can't depend on it for your long-term saving need and retirement needs. So you might actually end up being underfunded in terms of your retirement needs, as well as underprotected if you go that route.
Yeah.
And as far as savings are concerned, we want you to keep it liquid as well. So you do need, when it comes to insurance, the liquidity is really not there. You have to like take a loan and pay interest to draw out the cash value. Right? And you know, when it comes to insurance, the first few years, if you ever surrender it, you actually get nothing back. Yeah. In fact, easily, for some plans, 20 years before you so-called break even on it, right? So that's why we say that insurance, we buy as much as you can, but pay as little as you can. Yeah.
So what is a good combo based on what you feel over here for people in their 20s, 30s and 40s and stuff?
Yeah. So if talk about a combo, I think that at Money Outlook, we sort of prefer, we advise that you don't actually go around collecting products, in the sense that, you know, like, okay, I'm going to spend so much on insurance, going to spend so much on investment and all that. But really to start from needs and start from a holistic or comprehensive planning. So this is what I was talking about then when we do comprehensive planning, right? So firstly, you're talking about savings. Start with savings as a foundational for building an emergency fund. So you need some cash in case, say, you lose your job. Then you need to have expenses, right? You need to pay for expenses, and that takes maybe about 6 months before expenses is what you need. So you need to start there. Then you need to make sure that you're financially healthy in terms of your debt and leverage and so on. Then you move on to look at insurance needs. And again, it depends on you, right? Because you have dependents, no dependents, and all that. And then you cover yourself with low-cost insurance. Then you look at accumulation. And for us, at Money Hour, we always use CPF Life first for retirement. So we in fact built our own proprietary analyzer, and we project your CPF, and then actually you realize that, you know, if maybe you don't need to buy any products. So let's say today, so I give you a quiz, Randy. Let's say you're 55 years old and you have the full retirement sum, okay, in your CPF. How much of a monthly payout can you get for life from CPF Life when you're 65 years old? So CPF Life is our national annuity scheme, right?
Yeah, but I don't know the answer.
Okay,
I do know that the term, but I'm not sure how much can I get back.
So basically, this is what you already have in your CPF, and then at 55 years old, it goes into your retirement account. 10 years later, you draw out a monthly income, right? And this amount is about $1,500 per month for as long as you live. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. So
why do I need another annuity then?
That's right. And in fact, there are no annuities in the market. There are real annuities for life now,
it's
because
true. It's always happened last spend.
Yeah, and the reason is because CPF Life is too good, right? For all things being equal. Now, if you have the enhanced retirement sum, that is currently $279,000, and it is totally possible to accumulate this with some well thought out planning. You get about $2,001 per month for life from 65 years onwards. So imagine a couple, you get like $4,000. Not too bad, right?
Yeah.
So some of our clients come and they pay a fee for planning, and they come, we say, oh, actually you don't need to buy anything. And in fact, a lot of times at Money Hour, we do what we call a stupid thing, right? But we actually tell clients, I want to invest this with you in your this fund. I said, please don't. Because, you know, what you need is a safe retirement income floor. You need a certain amount. CPF Life is the best to give that to you. Yeah. So I guess a long and short of it is to summarize, we don't say that we want to allocate so much to savings, insurance, investment, but there is a sequence to planning that starts with financial health. There is logic to it, and it not necessarily involve product buying.
It's true. So that means actually, how do Money Owl actually serve the customers? It's more on pure advisory?
Well, for us, we have a digital front, so you can
Yeah.
actually come and visit our website. Currently only in English, not in Chinese.
You're bilingual, right?
Because we're not. We just had a full suite about last year, so it takes time to get
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so we are actually planners, comprehensive planners at heart, and you can come in and just do an insurance. You can come in and just do an investment advisory, including online, but we recommend to you very much to try this comprehensive planning service, right? And this is where we cover all the different aspects that we do, and we charge an upfront fee of $99, but for NTUC members, it's actually get 75% discount, so that's like less than $25. So what you do is you do some of it online in your own time. Nobody is going to disturb you, molest you, or whatever, right? When you're ready,
Yeah.
then you can do the come and see our advisors. Similarly for insurance, go and compare. We have about 500,000 quotes on our insurance website. Compare the different ones, see who is superior and who is not, and you will see then that our sister company NTUC Income does not always come out on top. This is really how we are independent. And thereafter, when you're ready, then you drop us a note, right? And then our advisors will attend to you. So this is how we serve.
And if you're an NTUC member, $20 over for 2 hours of advisory, yeah.
Yeah, fee-based advice,
Yes.
and we do your CPF, we project your what you have in there. That's something we're very proud of and proprietary to us. And also it's really everything, right? It's not just about investments like robo-advisors. It's not just about insurance. That sometimes you might get a very insurance-centric solutions, but you get national solutions, commercial solutions, and throughout the whole suite, and for all of your life. And you can also do a digital will for free on our website.
Oh, a free will?
Yes,
And it's going to be stored there?
Well, the will is valid if you have to print it out and it has to be signed and all that. Just
Yeah.
a simple one
Yeah.
until you find the time to sort of go to a lawyer. But it's a valid will, but it's something that we just want to help people who are very simple needs to be able to do that.
Oh, that's really very good, comprehensive services that I was giving out to all our friends right here. Okay, do check them out. So we come to this question that everyone always talk about: buy term, invest the rest.
Oh yeah, okay. So after you hear me, you say, oh, okay, you are in the BTIR camp, you're the buy term, invest the rest camp, right? So it's like, is that really what we should do? Now, I don't have time to go through, say, a mathematical example. You can go actually on Money Hour YouTube and search for that. I have a short snippet where I explain this with some numbers. But just put it this way: buy term, we advocate buying term not to invest the rest. We advocate buying term to maximize protection. So buying term is not about returns at all, because after all, insurance is about protection, right? So buy term, invest the rest, we actually count it as a kind of academic exercise, right? You compare the returns of investing in markets, right, of a certain premium minus the term insurance part, right? Then versus the whole life plan. So just now you looked at the two examples. So let's say, Peter, you had $8,000 for a whole life plan. For a term, it's like 900. So let's say the difference of 7,000. You buy the term and then you invest the 7,000. Then you compare, say, at the end of, let's say, 20 years, who is better off, which one is better off, okay? And usually buy term, invest the rest wins in this mathematical exercise, very simply because the charges involved in insurance are very, very high. Whole life plan probably takes about 20 years or so to break even. But like I said, we advocate term because it's the most affordable way to get you covered, and that is really the purpose of insurance. Whether you should invest at all is a separate matter. Just now we talked about CPF Life, right? So maybe you don't need to invest if that is sufficient for you. And this depends on your need to take risks, your ability to take risks, and your willingness to take risks. 所以我们讲这个买定期呢，投资其余的概念呢，其实就是买终身保险的保费，你去除那个定期保险的存保费后，剩下的钱呢，就拿去投资于市场，然后在某个时期后呢，你所得的回报跟终身保险相等的时期的回报呢，做一个比较，这是非常学术性的一个比较。其实我们说买定期呢，的投资其余的回报呢，通过这个学术性的比较，会好像是比较好。然而我们说买定期保险的原因是因为要达到更高的回报，而是因为定期保险呢，能让我们 以最低的开支呢，得到十足的保障。你是否适合投资，其实是另外的考虑。你有没有这个投资的这个承担风险的能力呢？有没有这个 time horizon 这个时间去投资？你自己的承受度是怎么样？所以买定期呢，不是因为要投资，买定期是因为你可以得到更完整的保障。Yeah, so that is on this favorite topic, and really just the final question here is, again, who can afford this premium? So that is really the question on buying term. Yeah, so I think if you allow me just very quickly to conclude. So we talked about 5 insurance myths, so why don't we switch and talk about and summarize in terms of what you need to know about insurance, right? Young or old, personal insurance is foundational to your financial plan. And what is there to your financial plan is there to serve your life goals, right? So it protects your plan from failing. Secondly, the purpose of insurance is protection, not savings or investment. You use your personal insurance as the core solution and don't depend only on a company or group insurance. Buy as much as insurance as you need and pay as little as you can by using term insurance to cover your temporary needs. Plan comprehensively and not in silos for insurance or investments. So for our viewers here, we also have, remember I said that for Money Hour, yes, our advisors don't receive the commission. This is retained at the firm level as revenues. You can scan this QR code, and if you come and see us for your insurance needs, you can get a 55% commission rebate.
I heard that usually it's 50% only, right?
Usually it's 50%.
So especially for National Day celebration or especially
for your viewers of Money Mastery.
Okay, so for all friends out there, I do know that a lot of you don't actually watch it live. Please remember to share this video as much as you can, and we will also repost on YouTube and also on LinkedIn and all that. Do share to all your friends who are actually currently looking into this area, especially like right now, a lot of my friends are asking me, hey, Wendy, this medical term insurance plan and all that just keep changing right now. How do we know which one to go for? The 20%, 30%, and all that. I think that is something that is very, very important, because I do have a friend personally. She just met with an accident and she has to pay a lot of money, but she doesn't have a lot of things covered. So all these are really something that's important, especially during COVID period. Do visit Money Hour's website and do share this page, okay? Screenshot this, send to your friends, WhatsApp, whatever, doesn't really matter. Just ask them to come forward to Money Hour. So one question, 55% commission rebate, does that mean that, example, I buy a plan, the plan is, let's say, $1,000. The commission that Money Hour is supposed to get from insurance company is, let's assume, is $300. You pay out 55% of the $300?
Yeah, so in commission world, there's actually 2 types of commission. One is the overriding commission that's paid to the company, and one is the advisor's commission. So if you're commissioned to advisor, then the advisor gets that, and usually that's about half of the total commission or so, or slightly less. So what we do is that we rebate half of the advisor's portion of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So perhaps if it's a 1,000, maybe okay, don't hold me to this, and then after that, it could be maybe about $200 or so, and it's over 6 years, right? So
wow.
Yeah, we do charge. Most of it is in the first 3 years. Actually, when you come, you might realize that actually commission is a very, very big part of your premiums, easily like one whole year or something.
Yes.
So this is the reason, I just want to add, the reason we can do this is because we are salary advisors.
And social enterprise.
Yeah, and because you don't need the salary advisors to go out and hunt and prospect. So the money we save on the hunting and prospecting, compensating advisors for that, we can return to you so that you can further lower your cost of insurance, which we want to be low anyway through your use of fit-for-purpose term insurance in the first place.
Wow, that's indeed really amazing. I think it's mind-blowing over here. If you really know the commissions that the agents are getting, I think Money Hour is one of the best ways that you can actually park your insurance plan. All right, so we come to almost the end of the program. So if you still have questions, Money Hour is actually right now at our Facebook chat. We do have friends who are asking questions. Do keep the questions coming. If not, after the program, do contact Money Hour on their Facebook page or write to us right here at singaporemoneymastery@gmail.com. So we come to the end. Thank you so much, GT, for being here today. Any last words to all our viewers over here?
So keep well, keep safe, and do your financial plan, because it is really worthwhile for that peace of mind, that wellness, to know that you can have security, you can have a fulfilling life now and in the future, no matter what happens. And this is really the goal of of financial planning and what we wish for all Singaporeans as well. And happy National Day.
All right, thank you so much, Jing Ting.
Thank you.
And we would like to sign out to all our friends right here. Thank you and happy National Day. Goodbye and good night.
Goodbye.